Welcome to the Why Not Us podcast.
Welcome back. We are Why Not Us episode 18 this week. Crazy.
Right. Crazy it is.
18 episodes in. It's been awesome.
It's been good.
Just the camera. They have to forgive the Christmas in the background. We got the presents wrapped up. So this is the storage room right now for that.
Tis the season.
Yep. So, welcome back. Today, unfortunately, we're without Jace. Unfortunately for us, but fortunately for them, got some good family things going on there. Hopefully he'll share in the future if he feels so inclined. But good stuff going on for the Jace and Chelsea Wright family this week, so we wish them the best. And we'll hopefully see him back next week. So my turn to carry on without him. Thankfully, we've got Dad here, the faithful, always ready to go no matter what. So
loyal, strong, and true.
That's right. Well, it's good to be back. Man, a lot of news going on. It feels like in the college football world. I don't even want to get close to touching the Michigan stuff, but just briefly, we kind of chatted beforehand. Kenny Dillingham maybe talking about going up there. I don't think there's a coach that wants to touch Michigan with a 39.5-foot pole.
No, that's a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, you'd have to be down bad to try to leave where you're at to go there. So good to see him get an extension at Arizona State. I don't particularly like him personally as a coach, but I do like to see he's a good coach. Arizona State's been successful. It's good to see the talent and the coaching stay in the Big 12, I think.
Yes, exactly. Yep, it's good to have good coaches in the Big 12. Keep the program strong.
Because it's going to be a tough road ahead for the playoff and whatever else goes on if we start having people jump ship out of the Big 12. So now's the time to band together and keep it going. So good to see that. Excuse me. We do have some football still going on. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty bummed about the whole playoff shakeout. It's been just a couple weeks of trying to get over the whatever the BS is of the playoff committee. And so I don't know where you're at with that.
I don't know that I've ever been less enthusiastic about postseason play than I am right now. It's just after everything that went on in the selection committee debacle and the SEC bias and all this other stuff, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I am not looking forward to the playoffs at all. If they're looking for viewership and people to watch, they haven't got my view. I'll tell you that. There's a few games, but I have no interest in watching two SEC teams battle it out for the fifth time this year. It's not good football. I'm sorry. Their teams are not good this year. There's nobody that's catching my attention. I go, oh, that's must-see football. So.
Yeah, I fully expect. I don't know exactly how the brackets roll out, but I believe we could expect a Texas Tech Indiana championship. That's my prediction out of the playoff. Assuming, man, I don't know if they may play them in the semis, but anyway, I think that a Texas Tech, Ohio State, or Indiana matchup, I think to me is going to be the best game of the playoff. We've said it here for the last month that Texas Tech's probably the best team in the country.
Yeah.
And I think they can handle any one of those teams. Like you said, the SEC nobody's sticking out. I mean, there's no offense in the SEC. And there's some good defense, but I don't think it's powerful defense. I think it's garbage offense.
No, I would agree with that. And specifically watching Oklahoma play Alabama, I'm like going, I don't have no desire to watch that. And I wish I had some confidence that James Madison and Tulane we're going to be competitive. I'm always rooting for the underdog. I'd love to see him win, but I just don't see any world where Tulane beats Ole Miss. They got boat raced by him earlier this year. And James Madison, I watched them play part of their championship game, and they looked average. And, so, I mean, it's not that they're a horrible team, but when you put them up against a Power 4 team, who are they? Oregon. They're playing Oregon.
Yeah,
at Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah. Oregon at home. I've not been a big Oregon proponent all year long, but Oregon at home is tough.
Yeah. No, I agree. The Tulane one is interesting. I don't know how the whole coaching shakeup goes into that game. I don't know if you've seen the Oklahoma quarterback, I believe, is not going to play in the playoff at all. He's said he's going to declare for the draft and sit out the playoff games. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, just crazy. You got a team that's playing for a championship. I mean, we got a team in BYU. We got to sit here for the second year in a row being the first team out of the playoff, and we got to watch teams with quarterbacks just abandoning ship and not even playing. I mean, that's incredible that you have a team that's playing for a national championship and all you can think about is yourself. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of dollars and cents out there, but in this world of college football, it's not like you haven't made money at this point, especially as a starting quarterback at Oklahoma.
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, I hadn't heard that, but if you're in the college playoff, you're playing for a national championship, you're opting out. That doesn't speak very much, so very highly of, that probably not really good grammar there. I can see it if you're in a regular bowl game, and then it's really, it's kind of meaningless. But if you're playing for it, in what world do you opt out of playing for a national championship? To me, that just speaks volumes that we need to make some changes for the NCAA football. It's in a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah,
it's what a disaster. You would never see. We'll use BYU for an example. AJ DeMontis, if we go to the Final Four, he's not going to opt out saying, "I'm going to save myself for my pro career." He's going to play for a national championship.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little disappointing there.
It is. Well, and it's like we fight over all this to get to the playoff, and then you just don't even play. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to me how college football is just it is a dumpster fire. I mean, it's still the problem is it's the greatest sport on earth. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in America, college football is just one of those things that I don't know. It just runs deep. No matter where you go and. It just feels bad. I mean, college football gets more viewership than the NBA by far. So a lot of other sports, it's just, man, it's popular. So disappointing to see that. I know you guys talked a little bit Georgia Tech BYU last week. So that's coming up on the 19th, correct?
That's on the 27th, December 27th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different game. Yeah. That shows you how checked out I am of football at this point. I mean, it's tough to be engaged right now.
Yeah. I think we mentioned it, but I don't know that we really talked a whole lot about it because we knew it was a couple weeks out. But I just love the fact that both of the teams are all in for the bowl game. They're excited to play. The players are excited. We're not going to have anybody opt out that I'm aware of. The coaches always get asked that, and response has been no. Everybody's playing. You got Kelly that's playing in the Senior Bowl, and Will Farron's playing in the Senior Bowl. They're going to play. I mean, those are NFL prospect guys. I just love it. And Georgia Tech the same way. You're playing for the love of the game, playing because you love it. You're already, like you said, you're already getting paid.
Yeah.
Besides the fact you're getting a free education there, you're getting paid to play millions of dollars to play. Why not be excited to play another game?
Yeah, I guess I understand maybe a little bit people trying to sit out and get ready for the combine and stuff, but what better thing to show football pro scouts than go play some more games, have some more film, go show that you're committed. You know what I mean? I don't know. A lot of these guys that opt out and prepare, and I'm going to go prepare for the draft and whatever a lot of those guys don't work out. You look at the last few draft classes of quarterbacks and other things like that in the NFL, they're just not good.
Yeah.
The development's not there. So
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've heard a lot of discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it, about the college football playoff and the committee. My personal opinion on it is, and where I'm going with that is, some people say we need the human element. We don't need just the computers. I don't think we need either. I think we do just like the NFL does. You've got six group of six conferences, and you got 4 Power 4. Go to a 2014 playoff. You take 16 teams out of the Power 4, and that gives you 6 conference championships out of the G6 and 2 wild cards.
Yeah.
You throw in there whoever you want, so if Notre Dame wants to get in, that's their only avenue in, or join a conference and earn your way in like everybody else. And you give your conference championship teams that are playing first and second place first round bye. That takes 8 teams out. You got 16 teams matched up the first round, and you just play it out. You don't need anybody picking. You just you take your conference championships. Gives you every Power 4 conference gets 4 teams in, and you just go play football.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like we've talked about, I think over and over till we're blue in the face. It's not that complicated.
No,
College football, unfortunately, is the only sport on planet Earth that can't figure out how to have a postseason. I mean, every other sport on God's green earth has figured out how to have some kind of playoff postseason for a championship. I mean, the stinking Idaho High School Association's got a better program to put together for for this. So anyway, it's just embarrassing, frankly,
it is.
and the yeah, I mean, this is our fourth week going on about this, but it's just embarrassing in the fact that at this point it's the people that have money and the monopoly on SEC, ESPN, you name it, college football playoff, just waving at everybody's face saying, we have the money, we have the power, and we don't care what you think. We're going to do whatever we want to do. And that's the message that's been sent for the last 2 years.
Yep.
And that's just kind of how it is right now until something changes. So,
and then the rumblings about the committee guaranteeing that there would be an ACC team in there. Who knows? I mean,
and Notre Dame as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's where I've obviously given it probably too much thought, but I went and looked at that. I'm going, why not? Why not go the 24 team? I mean, it would work. Yeah. You take there's no bias in that. You're just taking teams that win their conference, and then you just play it out. And then we don't have to have a committee debating in a room. You don't have to have the voters. You don't have to have metrics. It's just you win your conference.
And that's the only way you actually let it play out on the field.
Yeah.
Is you just win to get to the spot you need to be in, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I hope we see some changes. I was hoping with Duke winning and having the 2G6 schools in, which I think will. I mean, I don't know. The Tulane game will be interesting. But you're probably right. Ole Miss and Oregon are probably going to wipe the floor with these guys, and honestly, I kind of hope that's what's going to happen because that will upset the right people in terms of, the Texas people and the Vanderbilt and the Notre Dames and all those people. It'll piss those people off enough that they'll say, well, we should have been in. We need to make a change,
Yeah.
And so as long as we can kind of keep pestering the powers that be, they'll change it to their advantage, which in turn will play to everyone else's advantage, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no doubt.
Anyway. Well, let's just run through real quick because I want to get to basketball. I have checked out of football. Unfortunately, I'll pay attention to Texas Tech probably in the postseason here, but so much good to talk about with basketball. So I want to focus on that. And starting kind of this week, I think we're going to transition heavily into basketball across the country. We've covered a lot of just general college football over the season. I want to do that as well with basketball as we move into that. Just a lot of excitement, especially in the Big 12. I mean, it's so fun. So briefly, we'll just give me your quick pick. I'll just run through the playoff games this week so we can, just pander a little bit to the crowd here. But so we got Friday, we got Oklahoma against Alabama. That's at Oklahoma. Like we talked about, Oklahoma quarterback out. What do you got there?
That game, gosh. If Oklahoma's starting quarterback out, their offense already stunk, and Alabama's probably going to win that game. And it's going to be probably like 13-10. That's how ugly that game's going to be. I think without their starting quarterback, Oklahoma doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I believe Oklahoma beat Alabama early on in the season in Tuscaloosa, if I remember that, or in the middle of the season.
I think the score was like 13-10, something like that.
Yeah,
horrible game.
So, maybe a little revenge for Alabama. We'll see how that goes. I'm kind of with you there. I think quarterback being out at Oklahoma will change things. But, it will not be a good game. I'm 9-3 or something like that. But I think Alabama will probably win that one. Okay, then starting Saturday, the first game we got is Miami playing at College Station against Texas A&M.
That's one of those that if we think that Texas A&M is as overrated as they are, but playing at Texas A&M, that's a tough venue to play in. I don't know that Miami's a great football team either. I mean, this is why I'm not really excited about these playoffs. We got these teams in there that I just don't have the warm fuzzy about. That's a dominant team. Texas A&M will probably win that game because it's its home. That's the only reason. That's the advantage they've got.
Yeah, no, and this is a toss-up for me. I think playing at home is probably going to be a big advantage. But Texas A&M, they played a decent team in Texas and lost. It's the only good team they played all year, to be frank.
Yep.
Maybe minus the Notre Dame, but they beat Notre Dame in the last seconds.
Yes.
So I don't know that Texas A&M's that great either. So it's kind of a cupcake fest here.
Yep.
I think BYU could crush either one of these teams, unfortunately. I think I got to give the nod to A&M at home. Probably, I'm with you there. So, just one that's tough to even be interested in.
Yes.
Yeah. Won't go too far into these because it's we've got Tulane, Ole Miss. We've kind of already talked about that, and James Madison, Oregon. I assume we're going with the big dogs there at home on both of those games.
My heart is with the underdog, and I would just be tickled pink to see both of those teams win. James Madison, Tulane, that would just – but, it is what it is at this point in time. Oregon and Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Bunch of other bowl games. I don't know that, to all of our 10 listeners, I don't know that we owe anybody anything college football wise. So I'm just going to, gracefully bow out of that. We're kind of going to transition a little bit, like I mentioned already. So
yeah, I think there's 2 or 3 ranked bowl games as it is. BYU, Georgia Tech is one of them. There's only a couple others. So really, quite honestly, I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, anything else college football you want to mention before we move on?
Real briefly there, just the interesting dynamic going on there in Utah with Kyle Whittingham being out.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how that affects Utah in particular. I mean, it doesn't affect BYU in any way, but was he asked to leave? Was Morgan Scalley being courted by teams all across the country, and he came in and said, "It's my time, or I'm moving out somewhere else." All kinds of speculation there. So a little bit interesting to see how that plays out. So.
Yeah, definitely. I obviously no love lost here for Utah. I hope, whatever for Morgan Scalley. I don't really care one way or the other about him, but good news for the Cougs. I mean, hopefully that sends us on a 10-game win streak against Utah. I mean, I'm not above kicking a dog when they're down, especially when it's Utah. So
yeah, amen.
Because they would not show any mercy if it were the other way around.
Nope, they would not.
But anyway.
Yeah, now we're on.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to basketball. Exciting games this week. A lot to talk about. I'd like to talk Big 12 a little bit too. But the 2 big things of note, BYU played Tuesday. It's been all over SportsCenter. If you have the ESPN app or you turn on any sports channel, you've seen highlights from this Clemson game at Madison Square Garden, the Jimmy V Classic. BYU on a comeback win, down 21 points at half, down 22 to the largest point there in the second half. Come back, win the game on a buzzer beater from Rob Wright. AJ goes crazy for 28 points, I believe, tied a career high, or if not set his career high. Pretty much took over that second half. Put the team on his back, outscored the entire Clemson offense in the second half. Awesome game there. And then just last night, I believe, they had the UC Riverside at home finally at the Marriott Center, and won that game 153, and just another clinic by the Cougs in that game. So, I'll throw that out there and give me your thoughts. We talk Clemson and UC Riverside.
Yeah, so the Clemson game, was interesting when that one went down. They got down, like you said, by 21 at halftime, and oddly enough, I was like going, these guys are a second half team. They're not out of this. I wasn't like I was beaming with, overconfidence, but there's always a chance with these guys because they're just too dang talented. And then watch AJ just take over in the second half. For the first half, Clemson just out physicaled us. They were quicker to the ball. Second half, it was like a totally different team, and that was fun to watch. That last 7 or 8 minutes with AJ and then K by Keita just being a beast, literally tearing the rim down.
Yep.
Had to stop play for 15 minutes to fix the rim because he was not level. Just fun to watch. I mean, and then AJ being unselfish. Did he end up with 6 or 8 assists at a game?
Yeah, close to 8. I think it might have been 8. Yeah.
Just what a good team player. To dish the ball out like that. That was what an ending. Then Rob Wright hitting that at the end of the game was just incredible. And yeah, that was a fun game to watch. And in Madison Square Garden on the one of the biggest stages in the world as far as basketball venues go. Just said a lot about the team. And the bench scoring has not been good since Dodson Baker went out. And, Kenny Pickett, who we've never saw, that actually was at UC Riverside, that transferred to BYU, out for the season, the other point guard. But, it was awesome. I mean, it's not great to get down like that in the first half, but holy cow, what a comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just fun to see. AJ's been pretty selfless, I should say, most of the season. And, some people moving him back in the lottery pick, predictions and all that kind of stuff just because of the stats and things. But he's a team player. He's a guy that wants to win games. He's also a guy that knows when it's time to get a bucket. And I think that's been what's special about him, is he's just very good at letting the game come to him. There were a few games early on in the season, and I think even down in the Orlando tournament, where he forced it early on in the first half and kind of had to get pull the reins back a little bit, let the game come to him. And when he started to do that, he really just appears to take over. And just you and I think talked about this during the week, and, people throw out names like LeBron James and, Jimmer Fredette this week was talking about, he has some passing ability like LeBron. Some of those jumpers he's hitting on the baseline, fading away, even at the top of the key, just rising over the defense, are Jordan-esque. I mean, you go down the list, we talked about Tracy McGrady, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant. You just go down the list, and he just looks like that type of player that can just create, get to his spot, and score. So it's just really fun to have a guy like that on our team. Yes. Kudos to Kevin Young for bringing him in, and that's to say nothing of the rest of the cast. I mean, Richie, Rob, and AJ are, I think, if they're not first, they're second in the league for the highest scoring trios on average. They're averaging almost 60 points a game between the three of them.
I think they're second in the country.
Yeah, second in the country. Almost averaging 60 points a game between the three of them. So, yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's fun to have a dominant team, and I'm with you in that Clemson game. End of the first half, I'm thinking, man, we're down 20, but I just don't – there was never a point with this team all season that it feels like we're going to give up, and maybe some of that comes with watching the UConn game, and coming back against a team that's that good. But, yeah, just fun to watch. And then the Riverside game last night, it was good to see Kostic get out there. I think – seeing him get into a rhythm, I think he hit 5 threes in that game. It was 5 for 6 or something, 5 for 7 maybe. So just awesome to see him come off the bench and get things moving.
No, that was, and I was going to say probably the two biggest things that I liked about the game last night against UC Riverside was the first half. They started fast, scored a lot of points in the first half and looked pretty good. And then the second thing was what you just mentioned, the bench scoring. I think there was 36 points off the bench. And
wow.
There was, so he was 5 for 7. Who else was at the Bob?
I think Boop. Yeah, Boop had some scores.
He had like 12 or 10 or 12 points, and then you had
Mihailo had 2 or 4, I think.
Yeah, and then Dominade had a couple points. Had that.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So 30. So that's more than they had scored. The graphic at the end of the game. That bench scoring in that game was more than the last 4 games total.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, yeah, that's what we need right there. And it's going to take a little bit to adjust when you lose a Dawson Baker. I mean, that's huge. So that was probably the big takeaways from that. They looked really good the whole game, and then the bench finally scored.
Yeah. Well, and when you get guys like Kostic, and I think Maruss, Jace texts me every single game giving me the update that Maruss has not attempted a 2-pointer at his career at BYU yet. And, he's struggled. And it's tough when you don't get to play in games to get into a rhythm, which is so good to see Kostic start to knock down some shots. Because he is a shooter. I mean, we kind of mentioned this before. He's kind of your European ringer, so to speak. He's kind of your Peja Stojakovic type. You just bring him out as the 3-point specialist and, have him hit down shots. So having him start to score is definitely just going to open up the floor for everyone else. It's just another guy you got to worry about on the perimeter. between Richie and Kennard and Rob Wright, and all those four guys are just going to be great. Yeah. And AJ can knock down the three if he needs to. Obviously a little bit better mid-range shooter there, but just exciting to see the guys play so well. I mean, they put on a clinic. And it's crazy. We've had all this conversation and haven't even mentioned probably one of the best players on the team this year, Keba Keita.
Yes.
Just my gosh. So I'll throw this stat out and then let you have it on Keita from there. But 1.5 steals a game, which is second only to Richie Saunders on the team, averaging 2 steals a game. Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, that's pretty wild because here we have a 6'10" guy with 1.5 steals a game. That's amazing. He's what an athlete. I mean, when he's out on the courts, you can see the other team's offense consciously make the decision to not go at him or alter their shots or different things like that. And man, he gets up and down the floor. What an athlete. He's just fun to watch. I mean, he's just one of those that you're like going, okay, what's Keita going to do next? And when he volleyball spikes that block out into the fifth row, which is cool. It'd be sometimes he's like just block it and grab it and we can go. But
he's gotten better at that.
Send a message that I'm swatting this baby up to about the fifth row. But he's fun to watch. And those lobs, he elevates so quickly. Just those lob passes they throw to him are just so fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, it was cool to watch Kevin Young talk about those particular plays this week on his show with Greg Revelle, talking about how they were designed kind of lobs to Keita where they overloaded the side, or as the motion turned to the right side of the court as they're looking, you had the other guard break across the baseline and bring his guy, so there's no help on the backside to leave that lob wide open for the alley-oop. And just to see that as a design is pretty impressive. Especially late in that Clemson game. I mean, I think Keita had 2 or 3 of those lobs that went up that he scored on, which, was part of that run to get back in the game. So good coaching, good execution by the players. The more I watch Kevin Young break down the games this week, I'm just more and more impressed, and it solidifies for me the coaching staff and just the basketball knowledge and IQ on that coaching staff.
Oh, unbelievable. We were so blessed to get Kevin Young when Mark Pope left and the guys he's got with him. What a group of coaches he's got. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how long they stick together, hopefully for the long run here. But gosh, what a great coaching staff. And they work so well together and they make such great adjustments. And I think that's part of the reason why they're such a great second half team, besides the team starting slows. But you've got a coaching staff that goes in and makes these little adjustments at halftime, and they come out and the team executes. And you're just like, oh, holy cow. But I love our coaching staff. They're awesome.
Yeah, completely agree. Just cool to see the scheme, see the kind of I say pro offense, but it's more pro in the sense that there's just a lot going on. There's so much motion for the defense to take care of it. And I thought this UC Riverside game was the first game that I saw us move the ball, and try to create offense rather than just pounding the air out of the ball, going one-on-one. Excuse me. And, so I thought that with just a lot of good ball movement, some passing and screening away, passing and cutting, just the simple things to get the offense flowing and cuts and motions to get things moving. And it makes it tough for a team to double somebody in that regard because things are always moving around. When you're standing around and everybody's running corners, it's pretty easy to double because there's just nothing going on, So I think the 100 points in that game is a lot of kudos to the way the offense finally ran. So I don't know what you're seeing from that side, but
no, I would just echo everything you just said. The ball movement's much better. Guys are getting to their spots better. I mean, AJ, as Kevin Young has said several times, he's getting to his spot on the floor where his game is at. It's just fun. One of the fun things was when Richie dunked it against UC Riverside, the AJ DeBontis reaction in the background was awesome, which goes back to our earlier comment about what a team player is. He really is a team player, and just is rooting for his team, and he wants to win a championship. And so that's what makes me excited to watch the team, because it's just they're turning into a team. We've talked about it for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Give them some time to gel as a team, to figure it out, and they're starting to get there. And so I think these next 3 games are going to be huge for us to hit the ground running with Kansas State in January. Mm-hmm. If we continue to look like we did against UC Riverside and make improvements to this team, will be on a roll.
Yeah, I agree. So one more thing I want to ask you about just before we move on to kind of the Big 12 outlook and stuff like that. What do you think as far as defensively goes? Obviously, BYU's been a pretty good defensive team so far this year. Just not allowing a lot of points. If I'm not mistaken, the UConn game is the most points allowed, 84 points.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've played pretty well defensively. What do you think about the full court pressure that Kevin has run most of the year, and then kind of that either drops back into some kind of a zone, usually like a 1-2-2 type of thing, or even just dropping into man after that?
I've always been a big proponent of that. Back in the glory days when I was playing and coaching, I had loved the pressure. And the reason I think I love the pressure is, especially for BYU and Kevin Young's style, and I always loved this style, was you want an up-tempo pace. If you press the other team like that, you quicken the pace of the game, and you get the other team out of their offense, out of their sets, and they're going to take shots that might be open but aren't normally in their offense, or they just take shots quicker than they plan to, and it speeds up the game. And when you have the athletes that we have, you can do that kind of stuff and not get burned. When you've got a 6'9" AJ at the point with his hands up like that, and then you got a 6'5" Richie Saunders, the smallest guy out there, like we've talked about before, is Rob Wright at 6'1", and he is so fast. But I love it. I just think it just and they can do a hard pressure, or it's just kind of a light pressure. They mix it up, and like you said, then they don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to draw back into a matchup zone? Is it man-to-man? Is it – and so I think it's awesome, and I love to see it. I just love it.
Yeah, same. No, it's fun to watch. I mean, it's fun basketball either way, besides the success. It's just fun to watch. And, I think we have the advantage with having so much length defensively that you drop back into a matchup type of zone, and those spots on the floor, maybe at the high post or mid-range and stuff, just aren't available. Mm-hmm. Normally spots you would try to exploit on a zone, they're just not there because there's guys are so lengthy in terms of their arm span and how quick they move that there's not much there. They're going to kind of forcing you to shoot, and Kata's there in the middle, just defending everything. So it's fun to watch defensively, and I think that's going to be something moving forward. I mean, we saw what they did to Clemson in that second half. Yeah. That's going to be a marquee of this team, I think, moving forward, is just how they can shut down teams defensively. And that includes UConn, one of the best offenses in the country. I mean, in the second half of that game, they just, shut them down. So
no, you can't. Again, going back, you can't overstate what Kata in the middle on that press like that, defending the basket. He's the eraser back there. I mean, that's huge. Without somebody like that, that makes it a lot tougher to be able to do what BYU is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just super excited. I mean, so we've got, like you mentioned, conference play coming up, start of the year on the 3rd, I believe, is the first game against Kansas State. That's at Kansas State. This week they've got Pacific on Tuesday and Abilene Christian on Friday. 2 teams, you expect to beat pretty well. All I know is it's just a good place to be when we've got Pacific up on the schedule, and I'm looking past them already. It just sucks to think about the WCC years. Great years in the WCC, don't get me wrong, but losing to Pacific every other time we play them, it sucks. And it's just good to be in a position where Pacific just does not stand a chance.
No, I had the same thought. I'm like going traveling down to Pacific, a conference game in the West Coast Conference, and coming away with a loss, and you ruin your whole resume to get to the tournament because they are 2 and whatever.
Yeah, and you're playing in front of 2,500 people down at their high school gym. It's just tough.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm with you. I'm so glad those days are over. It was a good run for us in there, but man, I'm glad to be where we're at.
Yes, 100%. So just kind of an overview, I guess, with the Big 12. I mean, so we've got what is it? 4 teams in the top 10. I believe Arizona's number 1. Got Houston up there. We've got, I believe, Iowa State is the other one up there. And then, maybe I'll have to verify that. But we've got, anyway, 4 teams in the top 10, including BYU. And then there's Texas Tech right on the outside of that as well. So tough to be, the number 10 team in the country and be third in your conference. That's crazy.
Yes.
So Arizona has looked incredible. They've got that guy Koa Pete, I believe is his name, the other freshman kind of standout that people are looking at in the draft along with AJ. So I don't know. Have you watched much Big 12 play?
This last weekend was I was kind of flicking through games just because the Big 12 was playing. Caught a little bit of the Kansas State game. That's a team we didn't mention. They actually didn't look too bad. Looked pretty good. I did catch about half of the Arizona Alabama game, which was a 2-point ball game. It was like 3 or 4, and then it went into the second half, and it was like 4 or 5 points. Arizona was up, and in about 2 minutes, Arizona was up 20. They just went on a run and just absolutely just pulled away from Alabama in a matter of it. Literally was about 2 minutes, and the game was over. It was just incredible to watch what they did to Alabama. So, and that was not at Arizona. That was on a neutral floor somewhere, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're good. That was good. Did catch part of the Oklahoma game. Oklahoma State did, I don't know how good Oklahoma is. Oklahoma State had chances there. They didn't look too bad. I mean, I haven't seen a team this year, the games that I've caught part of, that have looked bad in the Big 12. I saw part of Kansas play a little bit of their game the other day. They didn't look too bad. I mean, they're not the Kansases of old, but they're still a quality team. I mean, they're,
right.
So I think we've got 10 quality teams in the Big 12. It's been fun to watch. I tried to catch some of them this weekend to kind of see where we're at and watch some of the teams play. But yeah, it's a tough conference.
It is. Well, yeah, I'll just run through this. So Iowa State 11-0, Arizona 9-0, Houston 10-1, and then you've got BYU, Colorado, Oklahoma State, UCF all 9-1. And that doesn't even mention Baylor, Kansas, Texas Tech. I mean, so a lot of non-conference games. Some other games that maybe aren't as good, but a lot of these teams schedule good big games, just like BYU did this year. You say Arizona, Alabama. I mean, Alabama's number 12 team in the country, and Arizona beat them by 20.
Yeah.
So, there's just I'm excited for this Big 12 conference. It'll be tough when there's a stretch. I think that we play Texas Tech, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State like back to back to back to back. That'll be a tough stretch, and we'll get to see how good this team is. One thing I've enjoyed pre-conference schedule is it's fun to watch games at home, but it's really nice to see them go play everywhere, because that's what the tournament's going to be like. You might be playing somewhere in New York or Orlando or wherever you get placed. And so I think that's just a good warm-up for the team, and they've played well on the road. Just a good team. I mean, I don't know what it is about this team other than we just have a lot better talent, but my gosh, they just know how to win, and they know how to score and play defense.
Yeah. And the thought I just had was, you're saying that is our coaching staff. It's a second year together, second year through the Big 12. And like Kevin Young, it was interesting listening to him on the coaches. So when they were talking about quad 1 and quad 2, he goes, I didn't even know what you're talking about last year, quad 1 and quad 2. He says, I do now, but I didn't then. And so I think that's a huge part of it also. But the athleticism on our team, I don't think has ever been better than it is at this point in time. They were pretty good last year, but I think we upgraded. I mean, you look at some of those guys coming off the bench, like this Dominade. I mean, he's an athlete, the alley dunk he had. I mean, there's nobody that goes out on the floor. And we haven't even mentioned Kennard Davis.
Yeah, seriously.
One of the best defenders and a great shooter. He's another one that is a huge asset to the team. So, no, it's great. I mean, and speaking of Big 12 being the best conference, what Iowa State did to Purdue about a week ago, 2 weeks ago,
yes.
Just absolutely number one team in the country, beats them by 25 or 30 or some ridiculous. So, yeah, it'll be a dogfight in the Big 12. Anything in the top 6 in the Big 12 this year, it will be good for any one of those teams. If you're in the top 6 of the Big 12, you're probably going to be in the top 15 in the country, and you're probably going to be not anything worse than a 3 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when we play Arizona, kind of how we match up. Just watching these teams, Arizona, Iowa State, destroy some of the best teams in the country. It'll be cool to see how we match up and give us a really good idea of how we fit
Yeah.
into the big picture. But I think the national champion comes out of the Big 12. I just don't think there's any way about it. It's either going to be Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, BYU. I mean, those four teams right there, I just think are just from what they've done non-conference. I mean, the Big 12, I think I'd have to check the tape on this, but as of a few days ago, was 17-2 against the SEC in
Yeah.
basketball.
No, that's I
Um,
saw a number like that. That sounds right.
yeah, so that just goes to show you right there. The Big 12 is just the best basketball conference, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just simple. When we're talking Kansas is number 7 on that list of Big 12 teams, that's crazy. I mean, that
Yes.
really is crazy. It shows how good the conference is top to bottom.
Yeah.
So man, we got nothing but some good basketball to watch. Just a side note, I've been looking at tickets. I'd love to go down and watch a game at the Marriott Center, and there's not a ticket cheaper than $700 in any of those games. I did see The Rock posted something about this game Saturday. They are giving 2 warnings. If you claim a ticket and you do not show up, you get 2 warnings and you're suspended for the year because they have so much demand to get into
Oh
those
wow.
games. So if you can't go, you got to give it up and say, "Hey, I'm not going to make it."
Uh,
So anyway,
well,
yeah,
yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to go down, but at 700 is a little steep.
yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot.
But anyway, well, yeah. So yeah, just looking forward to basketball in general. It's going to be an exciting season as we move into the conference. We got a few more non-conference games here. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff moving forward.
Yes.
So, well, let's end it with the buy or sell.
All right. Let's do it.
We'll go over that real quick. So my buy is going to come out of basketball. I know we haven't played a Big 12 game yet, and I'd have to check on what the officiating crews have been from, if they've been from the Big 12 or other conferences. There's some questionable calls and controversies out there. I think the officiating so far through 10 games for BYU has been pretty consistent. Maybe I don't agree with it sometimes, what they're letting people get away with or what they're calling. But it seems to me a lot of the hand fighting in the front court has been, or in the back court, I should say, has been kind of allowed to happen. Not a lot of ticky-tack fouls that way that I've noticed. And you can correct me on this if you think
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but they've been letting a lot go under the basket as far as,
Yes.
just going for rebounds and stuff like that. It seems like it's been fairly consistent. So my buy is the referees this year. I mean, unfortunately, basketball is just one of those sports where the refs really can control the tide of the game depending on how they decide to call it. And I think that allowing a little bit more to go, especially when there's loose ball type situations on a rebound or different things like that, has been refreshing to see. It almost seems like the players can get into a better rhythm that way. So anyway, yeah, tell me what you think about that.
No, I would agree. There was only one game I can think of. It was that might have been in Miami when they're playing the tournament game that was kind of a slugfest in the first half, where the
Yeah.
foul calls were really lopsided against BYU. But outside of that, I mean, they played 10 games, and that's the only game that really comes to mind. So I would agree with you on that. It seems like if you have to think back about the officiating, that means it's been pretty good. Otherwise, it'd be pretty blatant. You'd have all kinds of examples of, what about this? What about this game? But that's the only one that comes to mind. And that was physical, but it wasn't like it was out of control, I guess.
Yeah.
It was very physical.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree. So yeah, good to see that. Hopefully that moves forward into the conference play. But
Yeah.
what do you got on your buy or sell this week?
Well, I've done a lot of sells, so I'm going to go positive this week with a buy. And it might be premature, but I don't think so. I've got a good feel. I'm buying the BYU men's basketball bench.
Yeah.
I just think that the upside there and the potential off the bench. I think we saw just the beginning of what they can do against UC Riverside. And I believe with 3 more games like this to get the confidence and everything they need, I think they're going to play a huge part when we hit the conference, because you're just going to need them in conference. The bench has got to come. We've got probably the best starting 5 in college basketball. But you
I'd
have
agree.
to have a bench, and when I say you have to have a bench, you've got to have at least 8. You don't have to have more than 8. You can win a national championship with 8, but I think we've got 8 guys there. And these next 3 games are huge, but I just think I like where we're headed with them. I like the confidence, and so I'm buying the bench.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, you got you got Boop, who comes right at the top. Is probably your best bench player, honestly, that comes in to relieve Keita. When Dom's healthy, he's going to be really good. And then then you substitute Eastern European guy in there
Yeah,
between Boskovic or Kostic or one of those
yeah,
guys. I mean, yeah, you got your 8 right there that I think can play, and I think Boop is just going to get better as the season goes on.
yeah,
He's just as good as defender as Keita, I think. I mean, Keita's probably the best, but
yeah,
he's right up there. He can defend the rim. He can play down low. He's quick, So yeah, I'm with you. Bench
yeah,
is looking really good, and I think, like you said, that a few more games to kind of get rolling is definitely going to improve it
yeah.
moving into the conference.
Is it? And I always these last names I got to get them down. Kosic, is that
Kostic, I believe.
Kostic?
Yep.
Kostic.
Yep.
They talk about him shooting in practice that he never misses, and we hadn't seen it till this game. And I saw how excited his teammates were when he started draining the threes. They were just going crazy for him because he's finally doing it in the game. But that's the key to me is once you do it in the game and you get that game confidence, I think he's just going to explode. I think he's going to continue to shoot like that for us. So that's why I'm so high on the bench right now.
Yeah. Well, and just watching, I mean, he was on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, he was calling for the ball, guys in his face, just burying them. So it was fun to see, and I hope
Yeah.
we get to see more of that, because if if there is one thing offensively that maybe is less than it has been in the past, it's been 3-point shooting. We've been good, we've been decent for sure, but add a guy like that to the equation, and my gosh, I mean, you could score quickly, you could rack
Yeah.
up points really quick. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. But
Be fun to watch this week.
yes, for sure. So anyway, yes. So playoff football starting. We covered that a little bit. Got basketball finishing up the non-conference, and man, I'm just excited to get into the heat of Big 12 basketball. It's going to be really fun to see. And then we'll probably be on the lookout for some portal news football-wise. We may touch on that. I know we've had a few players going to the portal already out of BYU football, so
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the recruiting as it comes in. But all things looking up, as far as BYU is concerned. So
Yes,
good time to
indeed.
be a BYU fan.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So, well, we'll call it there for this week. I look forward. Hopefully, we have Jace next week. If not, I'm sure he'll be back here shortly with us. Once again, wish him all the best. But
Yeah.
yeah, go Cougs.
Go Cougs.